Now we will continue. Manufacturers of dominant brands can secure strong trade cooperation and support from retailers. The most advanced supply-distribute arrangement for administered VMS relies on distribution programming, which builds a planned, professional-managed, vertical marketing system that meets the needs of both manufacturers and distributors. A contractual VMS consists of independent firms at different levels of production and distribution integrating their programs on a contractual basis to obtain more economies or sales impact than they could achieve alone. Sometimes thought of as value-adding partnerships, contractual VMS come in three types. Firstly, wholesaler-sponsored voluntary chains. Wholesalers organize voluntary chains of independent retailers to help standardize their selling practices and achieve buying economies in competing with large chain organizations. Number two, retailer cooperatives. Retailers take the initiative and organize a new business entity to carry on wholesaling and possibly some production. Members concentrate their purchases through the retailer co-op and plan their advertising jointly, sharing in profits in proportion to their purchases. Non-members retailers can also buy through the co-op, but do not share the profits. Number three, franchise organizations. A channel member called franchisor might link several successive stages in the cooperation distribution process. Franchising has been fastest-growing retailing development in recent years. Many independent retailers that have not joined the VMS have developed specialty stores serving special market segments. The result is a polarization in retailing between large vertical marketing organizations and the independent specialty stores, which creates a problem for manufacturers. The new competition in retailing is no longer between independent business units, but between whole systems and of centrally programmed networks, competing against one another to achieve the best cost economies and customer responses. We can distinguish between pure-click companies, those that have launched a website without any previous existence as a firm, and the brick-and-click companies, existing companies that have added an online site for information or e-commerce. By mid-2013, more than half of all online US buyers have made a purchase on a mobile device, and m-commerce accounted for more than 11% of all e-commerce. In the United States, mobile marketing is becoming more prevalent and taking all forms. Consumers are fundamentally changing the way they shop in stores, increasingly using a cell phone to text a friend or relative about a product while shopping in stores. 50% of all Google searches are done on mobile phones. Companies are trying to give their customers more control over their shopping experiences by bringing web technologies into the store, especially via mobile apps. Marketers are using a number of new and traditional practices in marketing. Understanding how consumers want to use their smartphones is critical to understanding the role of advertising. Giving the small screen and fleeting attention paid, fulfilling advertising's traditional role of informing and persuading is more challenging for m-commerce marketers. Consumers often use their smartphones to find deals or capitalize on them. The redemption rate for mobile coupons far exceeds that of paper coupons. The idea of geofencing is to target customers with a mobile promotion when they are within a defined geographical space, typically near or in a store. The local-based service requires just an app and GPS coordinates, but consumers have to opt in. The fact that a company can pinpoint a customer's or employee's location with GPS technology raises privacy issues. Like so many new technologies, such location-based services have potential for good and harm and will ultimately warrant public scrutiny and regulation. No matter how well channels are designed and managed, there will be some conflict, if only because the interests of independent business entities do not always coincide. Horizontal channel conflict occurs between channel members at the same level. Vertical channel conflict occurs between different levels of the channel. Multi-channel conflict exists when the manufacturer has established 2 or more channels that sell to the same market. It's likely to be especially intense when the members of one channel get a lower price or work with a lower margin. Goal incompatibility. The manufacturer may want to achieve rapid market penetration through low price policy. Dealers, in contrast, may prefer to work with high margins and purchase short-run profitability. Unclear roles and rights. HP may sell laptops to large accounts through its own sales force, but its licensed dealers may also be trying to sell it to large accounts. Territory boundaries and credit for sales often produce conflict. Differences in perception. The manufacturer may be optimistic about the short-term economic outlook and want dealers to carry higher inventory, while the dealers may be pessimistic. In the beverage category, it is not uncommon for disputes to arise between the manufacturers and their distributors about the optimal advertising strategy. Intermediaries' dependence on the manufacturer. The fortunes of exclusive dealers such as auto dealers are profoundly affected by the manufacturer's product and the pricing decisions. This situation creates a high potential for conflict. Table 13.2 lists some mechanisms for effective conflict management that we discuss next. In some cases, a convincing strategic justification that they serve distinctive segments and do not compete as much as they might think can reduce potential for conflict among channel members. Dual compensation pays existing channels for sales made through new channels. Channel members can come to agreement on the fundamental or supercoordinate goal they are jointly seeking, whether it is survival, market share, high quality, or customer satisfaction. A useful step is to exchange persons between 2 or more channel levels. Thus, participants can grow to appreciate each other's viewpoint of view. Similarly, marketers can encourage joint memberships in trade associations. Co-optation is an effort by one organization to win the support of the leaders of another by including them in advisory councils, boards of directors, and the like. When conflict is chronic or acute, the parties may need to resort to stronger means. Diplomacy takes place when each side sends a person or group to meet with its counterpart to resolve the conflict. Mediation relies on a neutral third party skilled in conciliating the two parties' interests. In attribution, two parties agree to present their arguments to one or more attributors and accept their decisions. If nothing else proves effective, a channel partner may choose to file a lawsuit. CK and Tommy Hilfiger both took a hit when they sold too many of their products in discount channels. Given the lengths to which they go to pamper customers in their stores, with doorman glasses of champion and extravagant surroundings, luxury brands have had to work hard to provide a high-quality digital experience. We saw earlier that in exclusive distributions, only certain outlets are allowed to carry a seller's products, and that requiring the dealers not to handle competitors' products is called exclusive dealing. Exclusive arrangements are legal as long as they do not substantially lessen competition or tend to create a monopoly, and as long as both parties enter into them voluntarily. Exclusive dealing often includes exclusive territorial agreements. The producer may agree not to sell to other dealers in a given area, or the buyer may agree to sell only in its own territory. Producers of a strong brand sometimes sell it to dealers only if they will take some or all of the rest of online. This practice is called full-line forcing. Such chain agreements are not necessarily illegal, but they do violate U.S. law if they tend to lessen competition substantially. Producers are free to select their dealers, but their right to terminate them is somewhat restricted. In general, sellers can drop dealers for cause, but not if, for example, a dealer refuses to cooperate in a doubtful legal arrangement, such as exclusive dealing or chain agreements. So far, we have covered marketing channels. Next time, we'll start a new chapter. Thank you.